Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. Well, we talked about the best of the decade. Now let's talk about the worst. Specifically, let's talk about my personal most disappointing. Because there are some games on this list that aren't that bad. You know, there's far worse games out there, but these are actually games that I was anticipating and I picked up and I either had a bad taste in my mouth, didn't like, didn't finish, or various other reasons. So let's get started. The first one I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a minor one, and that's Alan Wake's American Nightmare. So the first Alan Wake on the Xbox 360 was great, came out of left field, was a really cool cinematic, atmospheric horror game, and so for years they were talking about a sequel, and then finally they released this DLC that was called Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and it just, after all the build-up and all the waiting, it just wasn't that good. And I didn't finish it, which for me is an unusual thing. Most of the time, I beat the games I play. But Alan Wake's American Nightmare just wasn't that good, and sadly, we haven't heard from the series since. So hopefully, they bring it back at some point, because that was a really cool game series, and ended the whole game, the first one, on a cliffhanger, if I remember. Anyways, number 9. So number 9 is a game that everyone seems to love, and I don't see why, because I picked it up, I beat it, and I didn't like it, and that is Alboy. What's up with everyone? Why do people love this game? Was it just me? Am I something wrong with me? Was something wrong with my copy? Everyone says about how amazing it is. The controls are garbage. It's impossible to control your guy when you're this much of the screen. No one seems... I digress. Alboy, you guys can like it. I know some of the people... I mean, hell, my friggin' the LJN Defender loves the game. I hate it. So, that's right. Not very good. And my cat is moving around here and always waits till I start talking before he starts moving. Thanks, Copper. Number 8. So, number 8. It's not that bad of a game. Just something that... You know when you get tricked into buying something that's probably not the right genre or right game for you? That's what happened with this game, I feel. So the game I'm talking about is the original Dishonored. It's a stealth-based game with powers and first-person shooter and has a cool story. On the surface, it sounded like something I'd be interested in, but really, I don't like stealth games that much. And at the time when this came out, I was really cooled off on the first-person genre, and just something about it just didn't appeal to me. I realized as I was getting into it, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be backtracking, and then you have to level up your character, and just, oh god, my character has these RPG elements, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it much. Come on, bud, come on, good boy. All right. Now Copper's gonna join us. Hopefully, he won't mess up the rest of my shot. Okay, so that's number 8. Now number 7. Huh. Number 7. This is probably going to be a lot of people's disappointing things, because the first 2 games were amazing. The third one we heard was going to be a co-op experience. How could this go bad? Unfortunately, kind of like what happened with Resident Evil, they took the horror out of the game and replaced it with action, and it came to a culmination with Dead Space 3. I don't know what it was, because I didn't play it co-op, unfortunately. I didn't have a second person to play through it, but it just lost its magic. And then the way the gun system worked was everything was crafted. There was you had all these schematics to make all these different versions of guns, which just made me long for the original, where I say this a lot. I think too much customization is a bad thing. I think at a certain point, yes, you can have all the options in the world, you can play it the way you want to, but it can get a little overwhelming, especially for someone like me who wants to make sure they're optimizing and doing things the right way, but also doesn't care enough to go mid-maxing and go crazy. It really is stressful to think of, like, oh, well, I'm using, this gun has a slightly better percentage point in this. It's kind of the reason I didn't like Borderlands 2 as much either, is because there was a lot of that with the gunplay, where it's slight upgrades. I hate marginal upgrades. Just give me, this is the gun that shoots straight, this is the one that shoots sideways and is powerful, and keep them separate. Don't try and meld them. I'm a lot happier. So yeah, Dead Space 3, too much action. They kind of ran the series off the rails, and then the customization I just didn't like, so I was pretty disappointed by it. Alright, number 6. Oh, number 6. It's ironic because the sequel, or the game before this, was on my top 10 games of the decade. So, I mentioned it, we're going to talk about Mass Effect 3. really good game until it wasn't. And really, the end is what ruined it. Copper. Really, the end is what ruined the game. It just... Are you kidding me? The whole series was building up to, are you going to go red, blue, or if you're really good, are you going to get green? Nothing else. It just ends. Ridiculous. I actually was, I used to do some EA playtesting when they would have the playtest sessions, and I playtested the new ending for Mass Effect 3 when they came out with it, and I liked it. They fixed some of what they did wrong, but there was no fixing kind of what Mass Effect 3 did, because chiefly, all the characters you came to know and love in the second one, almost none of them are playable at all. You don't get to use any of them. And then you also have to watch all of them die or sacrifice themselves or be marginal characters. It just... It was almost like the new Disney Star Wars trilogy. You know, you build up all these characters only to see them get pushed to the side or killed off in unsatisfying ways. That's the best thing I can say about it. So Mass Effect 3, number 6 on this list. Now number 5. Oh, number 5. This is a little bit of a low-hanging fruit, but Resident Evil 6. I knew the reviews were bad going into it. I enjoyed 5. I really enjoyed 4. 3 was okay. 2 I loved. 1 I loved. So I had to get 6. And unfortunately, after playing it for, 30 minutes, I already could tell I wasn't going to like it. The menu system stays on screen like in Dead Space, so you're always open, and just the combat system it just didn't feel... It didn't feel like it was a Resident Evil game. And I can't say anything more than that. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I know some people say it's alright. Maybe I should go back to it now and not expect it to be a Resident Evil game or whatever, but yeah, not a good game. Alright, number 4. Well, number 4... Oh god, I was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to this so much. I bought the collector's edition, and when the game came out, the collector's edition was going to take an extra day to get to me. So I actually went out and bought the damn thing because I just had to play it. I had to name my planets. I had to play No Man's Sky. What a mistake. What a mistake. And the funny thing about this game is you had yourself convinced it was good until it wasn't. Now, I enjoyed my time with it still until I just never wanted to play it again. And, yeah, I can't say anything else than that. I know they have had some updates in recent years. Apparently, base building, you can have better ship combats. I kind of got my fill of what the game was, and I don't really want to go back to it. So, yeah, No Man's Sky, number 4. Copper, come on. You're really ruining this whole thing. All right, number 3. I'm not sure how this got to number 3. I wasn't really paying attention to the order in the list. But it is a Zelda game, and it is pretty disappointing, and that's Skyward Sword. I played through the opening, prologue, and I got out of the zone, and I'm flying now, and oh, it's the original Zelda. They went all the way back, and still using waggle controls, and I just couldn't be asked. I'd finally gotten around to beating Twilight Princess 6 years after the fact. This one had just came out, and I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I got XCOM and Red Dead to play and other stuff. I don't want to play Skyward Sword. So yeah, Skyward Sword, number 3, most disappointing game of the decade. Now, these next two are pretty much directly responsible to me getting back into retro games seriously, and even partially responsible for me starting the channel. So number 2 would be the first big blow, and that's Titanfall. Titanfall, I was so anticipating to the point where I got a Xbox over a PS4 to get Titanfall, and after playing it for an hour and a half, realizing I made a horrible mistake. And up to this point in my life, I didn't make those many mistakes. I had the one-off where I bought games like War Gods or MRX Racing, stuff like that on the N64, but I had a pretty good streak of not making huge mistakes. Resident Evil 6, I got at $20 as a discount game. That wasn't that big a deal. But Titanfall, buying a system for it, all that was so structured for Titanfall. I structured my whole next gaming life around that stupid thing, and what a mistake! What a mistake. Alright. What an awful game. There's nothing to it. And this was really when I finally just closed the door on first-person shooters. I'm like, I am done. This is enough. No more. There's just nothing to it. There's no campaign. You know, Titanfall 2, when it came out, the campaign was great. If Titanfall 1 had been Titanfall 2, it'd probably be in my top... Like, I don't even know. I may still be playing first-person shooters right now, but that really broke my spirit. But number 1 took it home. You're like, oh, you know what? Titanfall was a disappointing game, but you know what game looks great? Oh, the big monster, and then the other guys are going to take him out Left 4 Dead style. It's all player versus player. This is going to be insane. And that's Evolve. And oh my god, was this just... I played the beta. I didn't even play the game when it came out. I played the beta, and on the beta, I just... What was I looking forward to? What? It's another first-person shooter with RPG elements, and you have to unlock your damn characters. You don't have everyone at once. You have to play the game to unlock the other guys, so you can't just bounce around. That way they trap you into playing more, and at that point, I just said, you know what? I'm done with modern games, and that's when I really started hitting all these Super Nintendo RPGs that either I didn't play, like Earthbound, or ones that I didn't know existed, like Treasure of the Rudris and Secret of Mana 2 and all that stuff. And then I was like, well, you know, if I'm playing these, I should talk about it because no one on YouTube's talking about it, and here we go! So maybe I should thank Evolve. And side note, when I finally did play it, my buddy Alexi came over. He's like, oh, let's check out Evolve. So I opened it, put it in my Xbox, and my disc drive on my Xbox One was broken. So I had to turn in my Xbox One. Luckily, it's still under warranty. Got the disc drive fixed, although now it has eject issues. But yeah, just what a horrible game. What an awful decade of disappointment. But luckily, it was a lot more good, especially in the last 5 years, than bad. In fact, of all the games that I talked about, only 2 of them were from the last 5 years, Alboy and No Man's Sky. So it's been a really good decade. So yeah, let me know what your most disappointing games were. Let me know what you think the worst games were. Like I said, these are more disappointments, games I was looking forward to and then let me down. Some games were close to making the list, but these are mine. Let me know what yours are. Once again, it's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.